It's Pride Month, and there are some things that Christians and conservatives need to understand. There is an effort to pit Christians and conservatives against the LGBTQ and vice versa, and we cannot allow ourselves to fall into that trap. My personal feelings on the LGBTQ people is live and let live, but the rainbow banner has been hijacked by Marxists. And they're not content with adults. They have our sights on the children. They already have the systems in place to indoctrinate the children in the schools and in the culture at large. They're using the pain of the LGBTQ as a shield so they can try to get away with this indoctrination. And what's the whole point of this indoctrination? So first of all, sure, they would love to queer and trans as many kids as they could, but that's not where they stop. They want to turn all the rest of the children into allies. And they're doing this for a few reasons. Number one, it destabilizes the family, both the current family structures and the families these kids would have had in the future. Number two, it destabilizes religion. Thirdly, it just destabilizes society at large, and these children become highly vulnerable to political radicalization. The organization Gays Against Groomers understands this. This is why they put out this statement yesterday, June 1st. It may be the first day of Pride Month, but there is no pride in the sexualization, indoctrination, and mutilation of children. The rainbow has been hijacked by activists who are using it as a shield to push a dangerous agenda onto your kids. So what can you do? What can we do? Step one, get educated and help others to get educated. In a nutshell, this is what queer Marxism is. We have to kind of backtrack. Queer Marxism, or queer and gender theories, are the first cousin of critical race theory. Critical race theory came from critical theory, which was developed by neo-Marxists from the Frankfurt School many decades ago. The neo-Marxists also had some ties with cultural Marxists, and then we go all the way back to Karl Marx, who wrote the Communist Manifesto. But anytime you're dealing with Marxism, the kernel of Marxism is pitting an oppressed class against an oppressor class for the purpose of destabilizing society, tearing down the powers and the structures of power so that a new power structure, communist, can come in and take hold. Now, that being said, the vast majority of people who are advocates for the LGBTQ are not explicitly Marxist themselves. They have been duped into this agenda unknowingly. So there's 5 different levels of Marxists. At the very top, we have the money bags. In this case, we have like BlackRock, Vanguard, and we have big money on the side of this agenda. The next level down is the actual communists, the actual Marxists, who are explicitly trying to enact communism through queer Marxism. Here's one of them. This is Lindsay Amer. Quote, "When I talk about queer, trans, and non-binary kids, I'm not just talking about kids who currently identify as such. I'm talking about all kids, because all kids are queer. Queer as in different, non-normative, and pre-structural. That's why kids are vital to liberation movements." By the way, liberation movements are Marxist movements. After the actual Marxists, explicit Marxists, we have fellow travelers. These are people that promote the agenda, the LGBTQ agenda. They might see some of this Marxism stuff. They're like, oh, I don't really go for that completely, but whatever. But they're still on board because the queer Marxists are doing such a great job. This woman, Lindsay Amer, is the one responsible for the Blues Clues Pride Parade. She gets a lot of preschool programming on the television. She's responsible for that. The next level down is the largest group, the most powerful group, and it's a group that has no clue to the Marxist part of this. They are only advocating on behalf of their LGBTQ family members and friends, or they themselves are LGBTQ, and they just want acceptance. And there's another level down, I call them level 2 dupes. These are the people who don't really go for this agenda, but they won't speak out about it or say anything against it because they don't want to be called a bigot. So you've just been educated, and now you need to educate others. Please share this video, but I have a few more things to share. Step 2, we need to protect our children. Our children are being indoctrinated using Marxist and Maoist brainwashing tactics within the schools with social and emotional learning to either think that they could be LGBTQ, and maybe some of them legitimately are. But now we're coming down to where it's over 20% of children now identify as LGBTQ, and it's growing. It's only growing from there. You need to really seriously consider to homeschool your kids. You need to get your kids off of TikTok. You need to screen the media that they use. I know some people whose kids, some people have moved to a different location to get their kids away from a friend group. Step 3, this is a big one. As Christians and conservatives, we need to not fall into the traps that are being set for us right now. So there is this agenda to try to pit the LGBTQ against the Christians and to spark some kind of conflict. And there's going to be a lot of pride events this month. We need to not go and protest those events. Just think of January 6th, how a few people, and maybe some of them were paid operatives, stoked, they stoked some violence, a little bit of violence, a little bit of damage to property. And now we have dozens and dozens of people languishing in jail for 2 years because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Don't go to the pride events. Don't protest them. Don't protest the family-friendly drag shows. That you're not going to convince anyone who's there. The people that you need to be reaching is other Christians and other conservatives. Reach those people. Just stay away from those other events. We're already seeing that Christians are being accused of being domestic terrorists. If they get footage of any kind of skirmish between a Christian and someone at a pride event, it'll be on the news, and they'll just play it over and over and over again on repeat. Again, step 4, I'm going back to step 1, get educated. Share this information with others. I highly recommend 2 people in particular for more information, James Lindsay, Karlin Borisenko. They have a wealth of information. You can also follow me. My expertise is Russian and Soviet history. You're also invited to this event that I'm doing with James Lindsay on June 17th.